Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Monique and I'm on a journey to get better at art. If that sounds interesting to you, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any future videos. Today's video is going to be all about the 100 head challenge. I did not finish it in 10 days, but that's okay because I did the 100 heads in a reasonable amount of time and I wanted to tell you all about it. But first, make sure that you check out the references down below. I use unsplash.com mainly because I like that there's not a whole lot of AI generated images, but also I like the different faces within Unsplash, especially if you know what you're looking for. And with this challenge, I wanted to make sure that I had a lot of different age ranges, different ethnicities, and a lot of shadows. So if you would like to check that out, make sure you look down below and join me in this challenge. So I have done the 100 heads challenge many times before. I've tried, I've failed. I've done 50 heads. I've done like 25 heads. So anyways, the whole point of this challenge for me is to actually complete the challenge. Like I said before, I did not do it in 10 days, but I'm okay with that because I did the 100 heads. And I think that's what is most important. I wanted to go through and show you guys my process of doing the 100 head challenge, as well as some of the things that I learned, what I need to improve on, and if I decide to do this challenge again, maybe think about what I would do differently. Do I have any tips and tricks of how you can get better? Not entirely, but I do want to tell you about my process. So let's get into that. This first page, I did do it on the first day, and then this next page, I also did it on the first day. So I was able to get all 10 heads done in one day. This first portrait that I do enjoy the way that I drew this portrait. The only thing that I think I would change is how the eyes are. I don't think I got enough form within this portrait, so if I could change anything, that's what I would change. For this next portrait, it's the worst one that I did out of this whole challenge, and I despise it. Why? Probably because of the reference that I chose. She is a very pretty face. The only thing that I feel that I struggled with is catching the light in her face. So like these eyebrows, they were blonde. Her hair, it was blonde, but her face itself had pretty decent shadows in it. It's just that I don't know. I'll put up the reference here so that you can see what I'm talking about, but I just didn't capture the light in her face, and so it just makes the whole portrait kind of creepy. So the second one is not my favorite. And now this third portrait, it's a side view. And if you know me, I love the side views. So working on this portrait, I was kind of in my zone. I had warmed up a little bit from the previous two portraits. And I think I got his features correct. It's just the sizing. Like his mouth and his nose, I feel like they are too small compared to his eyes. You can tell it's a male, you can tell what I was going for, but I think I could have done better. I do like the shadows that I was able to get around his eyes. I think his beard came out really nicely, especially like the gradient from his beard up to his sideburns. And I like how I got the structure of the front part of his hair. It looked a little bit lighter in the reference photos, but I didn't want to go too deep with the shadows just because I liked how the curls formed when I was sketching them out. In this fourth portrait, I'm realizing looking back at this page, but I feel like I gave myself a little bit of leniency just because I'll tell you, the very last face on this page is also side view. So this one that I'm working on currently, the fourth head, I really like how I did her lips, and her eyes look so good, and her eyelashes. I think this one is probably one of my favorite portraits because I didn't add too much shading into this one, but it just, like, the features feel like they're right on point. Am I saying like a lot? Anyways, I enjoy this portrait quite a bit just because of how I was able to get the features laid out. It's side view, which I love. And then her hair, I didn't put a whole lot of detail into it, not gonna lie, but you can tell she has curly hair. And I think the objective was completed. So this last portrait, I was a little bit nervous about, more so because of his hair, but we'll get to that in a minute. Um, I really liked drawing his nose because it was so big, and I like the fact that it's not an average nose, and I feel like that's why I picked this portrait, because it's not an average face. He doesn't have a cutesy little nose. Like, it's awesome, don't get me wrong. I love that it's big. It doesn't need to be small. But I think the nose is what I really enjoyed drawing about this portrait. And it's actually probably bigger than what the reference actually shows. So yep, that's how you can tell I enjoy drawing the nose. I also enjoyed drawing his glasses because I was worried about getting them in the right position for his face, but I think it worked out really well. And then his hair didn't turn out exactly how I wanted, and I think that's just because I was too focused on all the small little details, because the first male portrait that I did, I just went by sections and not necessarily looking at all the small details. So I think if there's anything that I would change with this fifth portrait, then it would be his hair, and kind of look at the overall picture and not the tiny details. Day two, I really like that first head that I did, number 11, because of how her eyes and her nose turned out. And I feel like she looks really close to the reference. I really enjoyed head 13 because of how curly her hair was. I did not like number 15 because he does not look like his reference, and I feel like I did not do him justice because of the angle his head was in. So that's definitely something that I need to work on. The four females, I feel like this one is very pretty. Number 19, I definitely could have done a whole lot better on. In number 16, I think if I would have just added a little bit more detail to the hair, then those two portraits would look more like the reference. Let's see, day 3 and day 4, I realized that I was spending too much time adding shading, so I decided to not do that for some of the other references or some of the other portraits, just because I wanted to make sure that I got all 10 heads done within that day. The more that I was spending with shading, I realized I just didn't have a whole lot of time to finish all the 10 heads. And if you're a parent, you know that the time is not on your side. So I just really worked on trying to get the features in the right place and making sure that I got as much detail without adding too much by shading the portrait. And I think it worked out really well. I'm not used to drawing kids, oddly enough. So some of these references for the kids just did not look like them. Like they're cute, but not accurate, which is kind of a bummer because these little kiddos were so cute and I was very excited to draw them. It's a nice thing about doing challenges. You figure out what you're lacking in, and I'm really glad that I did this challenge, and I learned that you gotta go with the flow sometimes, and that's okay. I think that when I started to remove the shading, I was really able to focus on the features of the face and just making sure that they were in the right place. And that definitely helped move things along and helped me improve a little bit more as this challenge went on. I do like the fact that you can still look at the reference that I use and tell which portrait it's supposed to be, like which portrait I drew and which reference it's supposed to be, if that makes sense. And then I feel like I was also able to stylize a little bit the faster that I drew these portraits. I really enjoyed drawing these older faces too, just because of all the little wrinkles in their face and how some of them didn't really have lips or like a toothless grin. It was really cute to draw those. And then with day 7, I was able to record some of the process. The older man, I love the wrinkles in his eyebrows. I really liked the fact that I was able to get his glasses in a good position. And then the little girl, I did have a little bit of trouble getting her features super accurate. I feel like her nose is a little lopsided and like her mouth isn't in the right place. I really like drawing 63 also because of all the wrinkles in his face. I realized that drawing wrinkles actually isn't too hard to do. I know if I would have added in some more shading, it would have added more depth into the face and really shown the wrinkles off in the older people's expressions and kind of brought it to life a little bit more. I think if I were to do this challenge again, I would take my time on drawing these faces and making sure I got them as accurate as possible by doing the Loomis and the Riley method and then measuring it out with my pencil and making sure that the features are in the right place and then adding in that shading. Especially when I have a little bit more time to draw, then that's something that I would look forward to for the next time that I do the 100 head challenge. Number 64, I really liked this portrait at the time of drawing it. I liked the fact that I was able to get her curls in place. I liked her cheekbone structure that I was able to get. Looking at the portrait now, there's some things that I can tell are a little bit off, especially like the left side of her face. I wish I would have given her a little bit more meat on that side just to balance out the portrait a little bit more. But overall, I really like that one. And for portrait 65, I like her eyes the most. And I feel like I could have added a little bit more detail into her mouth. But again, I was trying not to add too much detail, but still making sure that the sketch looked like the reference. With the digital sketching, I would do the digital sketching just to kind of shake things up a little bit. I did enjoy sketching on my iPad. Previously, like to this 100 Heads challenge, I was working a lot in my sketchbook and I wanted to bring out my iPad just because I do like digitally drawing. I wanted to see if there was a little bit of a difference from jumping back and forth. And I can tell you that my pencil and paper sketching compared to my digital sketching is not the same. And I don't know if that's because when you're working with pencil and paper, there's more of a grip And I do have a matte screen protector on my iPad. It's just a different feel, like it's a little bit more smooth. And I'm not knocking digital drawing, I love it. I just noticed that there is a difference, like my traditional and my digital sketching do not mesh well enough. And I don't know if that's because I don't like bounce back and forth often enough. I do like how my digital sketches turned out. I just think if I had stuck with pencil and paper, it would look a little bit better. Let's see, day 8. I did this one pretty quickly also. I don't really like number 74, but or 72, but all the other portraits are really good. I can tell that I'm being more loose with my line work, but also I'm having a style that I didn't really notice before. Like when I'm really in the zone, I can tell that I'm making the eyes a little bit bigger or the nose a little bit bigger. And I just like the fact that that's coming through with this challenge. I didn't think that it would. 86 through 90, I like all of these portraits. I think I could have done 87's hair a little bit better, or like his sunglasses are not placed well on his face. For 91 through 95, I like all of these portraits. I do wish I had added shading. Really, with most of these portraits, I know I said that making it simple helped me move quicker and to work on where the features should lie. But I think with most of these portraits, I could have added shading and that would have just brought the portrait to life. 96 through 100, I was able to record this part for you guys, and I like all of them. I like all of the portraits that I did here. Number 96, I really like her eyebrows and the way that her eyes turned out. Again, I like her nose. I think that's why I made it a little bit bigger than what it was supposed to be. 97, I liked this one quite a bit just because of how I was able to do his hair and add the little stubble on his chin. I think I should have colored in his nostrils a little bit and maybe fixed his ear some. Number 98, I do like the way this turned out. I feel like I added too much curvature to the side of her face, and I think I should have shaded in her hair a little bit just to set her apart from the other portraits. 99, I really liked how I was able to get his sparse eyebrows. I feel like I should have colored in his hair as well. I like his eyes because of the light that shows through. And his nose turned out really well as well. And then 100. This is actually the second time that I drew 100. I did that on my iPad and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to do the 100 heads challenge. I only do 5 faces. So, anyways, I redrew her and I think she turned out much better on this second go around compared to the first go around. The angle of her head is at a good position. I think her eyes look really nice. I love her eyebrows and I like the way that she is looking at the viewer. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this little flip through and spiel of me talking about the 100 heads challenge. If you think that you want to do this challenge, go for it. Don't follow any other rules. Just do you. And try not to stress too much about it because I was really worried that I wasn't going to finish this in 10 days. And I feel like that's why I started to add less detail, like no more shading, and just kind of sketch it out and rush through it. I know that when some people look at these 100 heads challenges, it's immaculate. Like it is just so beautiful, not a mistake on the page. But for average artists like myself, yeah, I mean, you're gonna make mistakes, and that's okay. You may not finish in 10 days. That's okay. You may pick the same type of photo, and that's okay. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. And just remember that you're on a journey, and whatever goes on that paper is part of your journey, or iPad. It's part of your journey. And I hope that you enjoy that journey as much as you can, because I'm going to try to do that.